never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Old school.
Going to be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocked the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird and the cut to DJ. Yeah! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry, way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace 'em up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And it is the basketball show for the basketball fan. Welcome back to another episode of Open Gym here on 1010XL. RJ Saunders here with you alongside Casey Dobson. But as always, what's most important is that you guys are here, and none of this would be possible without you. So we thank you, the city of Jacksonville, for taking time out of your Christmas schedule to talk hoop with us. Your way onto the show, as always, the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010, or on the MyBookie Digital Studios, wherever you are listening to us, whether that be on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Our question of the day: who should get the nod to go into the NBA Hall of Fame this year? The NBA has made the announcements in terms of the nominees: Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Sue Bird, Marc Gasol, Amari Stoudemire. Penny's on the ballot as well. The 2008 Olympic team, better known as the Redeem team, also on the ballot. How about Robert Horry? He's made an argument for years now that he should be in. 7-time NBA champion, hit some big shots for a myriad of teams, whether that be the Houston Rockets, LA Lakers, or San Antonio Spurs, to help them in their quest to win NBA championships. Billy Donovan, for all you Florida Gator fans, is a nominee. Bill Laimbeer, going to talk to a former teammate of his in Scott Hastings, who now covers the Denver Nuggets. And Sean Marion, NBA champion, multiple-time All-Star. Who should get in? Let us know. 641-1010. So I'll start like this. Companies they're always going to make changes, whether that be for better or even for worse. We're seeing it here at 1010. We just got the announcement a couple of days ago that there's going to be some changes made here. Now, no, nobody's getting fired. They're just some people that are going to be changing positions. And
speaking of which, congratulations, my boy.
Arigato.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll see how it works out. That's what great companies do. Those are what many companies do. They try to see how those changes are going to formulate, how they're going to work themselves out, and then make changes from said changes. And the NBA is no different. All-star voting has now begun, and we've talked about this since we have started what I like to call season 2 of Open Gym here on 1010XL, about the All-Star game and their lack of competitiveness. And Adam Silver is deciding again that he is going to change the format to this year's All-Star game come February. So here's the revamped concept for this year's All-Star game, which will be in the Bay Area. It's going to be a 4-team tournament. Be 3 teams that consist of All-Stars, and it's going to be 1 team, I believe, that'll be consisted of G League talent. Each game is going to be to 40 points, a total prize pool of $1.8 million. Winning team and players get $125K each, which I would like to believe will go to a charity of their choice, because what's $125K to people making over $125 million, right? Now, fans and we've spoken on it enough that we haven't enjoyed the All-Star game in a while. The last time we had an enjoyable All-Star game, and it pains me to say this, but one of our legends had to have an untimely demise. Both he, his daughter, as well as others. And I don't mean to say they took it serious because of the fact that Kobe Bryant unfortunately passed away in a helicopter accident, but it felt the vibe was, let's play the game in which Kobe Bryant would have wanted it to be played if he would have been in this year's All-Star game. Jonathan Von Tobel, we've had on the program, and he said, listen, he doesn't even watch the All-Star game. Never been that big of a deal to him. Now, it's one thing for us diehard NBA fans or even the casual NBA fan sits on a bar stool, a barber chair, church pew. When we talk about our disdain for the midseason round ball classic. However, there are some people in the NBA that are voicing their displeasure. This is Kevin Durant. He would be asked about what he thinks about the new format this season for the All-Star game, and, well, he's not giving the Ebert and Roper 2 thumbs up.
Is it like 4 different teams?
Yeah, 4 teams, 6 players each. I think they're drafted by like Kenny and Shaq and Chuck, and then it's like a tournament style first to 40 points.
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's terrible. All-Star game, formats changing, all the formats terrible in my opinion. And we should just go back to East-West, and just play a game. I think we've been trying to, bring that flair back somehow with the All-Star weekend, but I think we just keep it traditional. But we'll see how this one works. You never know. I might be wrong. I'm just another guy with an opinion, but we'll see how it works.
Now, you hear him say that he would like for the NBA to go back to the East-West format. Well, Kevin, you played in the All-Star game last year, and it was the East versus the West. 2 teams, not 4. Final score, 211-186 in favor of the Eastern Conference. Yikes. Now, the biggest thing that I have wondered is who's to blame. Is it the players, or is it the NBA for continuously changing the format year after year after year? As I've said, you've had individuals, myself, yourself, NBA legends such as Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenyon Martin. You also have people in the media such as Stephen A. Smith. And I'm sure that we have many who are buying Christmas presents or driving down Beach Boulevard, or you're getting a morning cup of coffee and you're chilling out on Bay Meadows. Many have expressed that we have seen the workout tapes of NBA players. We've seen them play at Rucker Park. We've seen them in Jamal Crawford's crossover league. We've seen them at the Drew. We've seen them with Rico Hines at UCLA. And we see that they play harder in that than they do the regular NBA All-Star game. And I think that's what probably makes us the most frustrated. They show more of an effort when there's not millions of people watching, when there's no money on the line, than when there is money on the line. Because I can hear you through my speakers right now. Back in the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, you didn't need a gimmick. You didn't need a gimmick to have a great all-star game. Kobe and Jordan went at it. If you were a player from a small market and you were named an all-star, perfect opportunity for you to get some shine. And maybe people would say, listen, I gotta watch more of the NBA on NBC or the NBA on TNT or TBS at that time. If Tracy McGrady's playing, I gotta watch more of this. He's doing that, and he's playing for who? But now we're at a place where you can watch every team any day of the week just from a swipe of the phone or the tablet, touch of a remote. But I think we've gotten to the state of the game, at least when it comes to All-Star. You can't kill it, but you can't save it either. You can't kill it because it makes a lot of money for the NBA. It makes a lot of money for the city that hosts. And whether we like it or not, there are going to be people that are going to cozy up towards their significant other or mosey up by themselves, have a hot plate of food and a drink, or maybe have it on as background noise because we want to know what's going on so that we can talk about it with our coworkers, talk about it with family, or talk about it with other NBA fans. If guys like Joe Dumars and Larry Bird met up with the guys last year and told them what the value is of the All-Star game, and you guys need to take it serious, and they didn't, I really believe even for a guy like me, we have to let it go. Competitiveness in the NBA All-Star game is akin to flip phones, DVD players. They're gone. It's over. There's still some there. Some people use it. But we're in a new age, either Android or iPhone. Here's the interesting thing when I listen to Chris Mannix on the Rich Eisen show a couple days ago, writer for Sports Illustrated. And he speaks about the fact that many of these guys do not want to play hard on Sunday because of all the things that they have to do Friday and Saturday. I'd be with them, but here's the issue that I have. Kevin Garnett spoke about it, and I believe Clyde Drexler also spoke about it when it came to a young Kobe. But Kevin Garnett says by the time, if you're an NBA All-Star, your first year, you don't know any better. So, of course, you're going to go to, let's just say, the puppy petting experience sponsored by Sprite. You're going to do that your first year. You think you need to be involved in everything. AT&T, all of their corporate people are going to be here. We need to spend the entire day with them and sign autographs all day. You're going to do that. Kobe did it so much so to the point where he was involved in everything. They said he fell asleep in the locker room because he was so tired. Once you get to about your second or third All-Star game, you say, hey, listen, I don't want to do the puppy petting zoo thing. I want to spend time with my family. Then I got to go to Shaq's All-Star party. I got a meeting at 4 o'clock with agents and sponsors. I can't do everything in which you want me to do. So if they're pushing back on that, I understand it, but listen, when you have first-time All-Stars or second-time All-Stars, maybe you can have them do it. But if you're demanding LeBron James, he can't fight it. You're the face of the league. I understand that some people are trying to say incentivize the players more. How much more of an incentive can you give? I just gave you the prize pool. It's going to be $1.8 million, and the winning team gets $125K. Where is that money going to go to? You think they're pocketing that? Some may. Some may not. Some may give that to charity, which I don't knock them for doing that.
I need some.
Give me that $125K. Give it to me and Casey. Split it down the line.
We got plans.
Absolutely. So it's certainly an interesting concept to believe whether or not this All-Star game is ever going to get back to the competitiveness in which we want for it to be. The question is now, how do you fix it, if at all? Do you give the winning conference home court advantage like the MLB does? Or do fans just say, listen, we're not going to watch until the product is better? Do you kill the All-Star game until the end of the year? I don't know how many guys would want to play, but do you do that? Or do you just have a one-on-one tournament? Get the best one-on-one guys. They play a game of one-on-one to 11.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. Little bracket.
That'd
be cool.
Have a team, 16 guys.
Have you submitted that idea yet?
I have not.
No. I think you need to.
But Casey and I will copyright it.
There we go. It's ours. It's a recorded line, so we got this.
And NBA, remember where you heard it first, right here on Open Gym. Before we get to our first guest, let's get Dolphin Gary on the line. Let's talk about the last week's question that we had on the air. Gary, how are you?
Hey, RJ, happy holidays to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy holidays.
Thank you. I didn't get a chance to call, and I wanted to answer. You were asking the most athletically gifted players you had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two specifically that come to mind to me. Dominique Wilkins, who was nicknamed the Human Highlight Film, and the other was played for the New York Knicks by a man by the name of Bernard King. Ended up tearing his knee up, I think, at like 27 and 28. And that was kind of before modern medicine and the arthroscopic surgery, that they have nowadays. But they were two unbelievable athletes. They could do anything on the court that I saw. But of course, the guy that got the most out of his athletic ability and then more was, of course, Larry Bird. He got every ounce of athletic ability out of his game, and then worked that much harder. I think because he wasn't as athletically gifted as a Michael Jordan or Magic or some of the others. He did it through hard work and became, in my mind, one of the 10 greatest players in history. I appreciate it. Taking my call, RJ.
There's a lot of gifted athletes that he talks about there. I did ask last week, who's the most gifted player that you've ever seen? During your time of watching the NBA, got a couple more gifted players who may get the nod to the NBA Hall of Fame. Our question of the day today: Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Marc Gasol, Amari Stoudemire, the featured athletes who are nominated for this year's Hall of Fame. Whether they make it in or not remains to be seen. But who would you place in the NBA Hall of Fame this year? Gave you 4 names there. We would love to know who you believe belongs in the Hall of Fame. 641-1010 on the text line. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the Denver Nuggets. Really hasn't been the year that probably many felt it would be for Denver, but could they still hurt somebody's feelings when it comes to the NBA playoffs? We talk about that with NBA champion Scott Hastings, longtime member of the Denver Nuggets organization, now does their color analyst work for Altitude Sports. That is next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
What are the many ways to experience 1010XL?
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at 1010XL.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
While other books make promises, MyBookie delivers. This holiday season, they're stacking the deck in your favor with 12 days of Christmas. Now through the 31st, a festival lineup of can't-miss opportunities for bettors to cash in on. Risk-free Thursday, Super Boosts, free bets, weekly casino giveaways with hundreds of winners and thousands in cash prizes. All it takes is a 50-cent spin on BetSoft slots to enter. With the road to New Orleans, bowl games galore, and a Christmas Day sports feast featuring NFL and an NBA doubleheader, this is your season to win. The 12 Days of Christmas event is live right now. Don't wait. Use promo code 1010XL with your first deposit, and MyBookie will give you a little extra start to your holiday. MyBookie is offering a 50% deposit bonus for 1010XL listeners just for signing up and using promo code 1010XL. There's a reason MyBookie has been the go-to for serious bettors for 10 years. Whether it's UFC, NFL, college ball, or casino, bet and win with confidence. Make your holiday season a jolly one with MyBookie.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa!
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home turf? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, Kingfish will sack mosquitoes, tackle rodents, and intercept termites before they can blitz into your home. And right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the 2024 football season. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Back to the action on Open Gym on 1010XL. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Following a heartbreaking loss to the Trailblazers on Thursday night, the Denver Nuggets looking to get back to the winning side of things. They face the New Orleans Pelicans tonight at 7 p.m. And the voice you'll hear is none other than NBA champion, longtime NBA veteran, and a guy that Charles Barkley doesn't want to see in a street fight. He is Mr. Scott Hastings, Nuggets television color analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Hastings. Scott, happy holidays. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. I'm in a beautiful hotel in New Orleans, and actually don't play till tomorrow night.
Okay.
So even though I stopped drinking, I don't drink anymore. Can you imagine a guy with a full day in New Orleans, the trouble I could have got into?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Enough said.
Absolutely. Before we get into the Nuggets, I've always wanted to ask you this question, though. You beat Akeem Olajuwon and Fly Slamma-Jamma on a game winner back when you were in college. Was the play designed for you, and did you call bank before hitting the shot?
No, I didn't think I banked. I thought I swished it, but I'll tell you a funny story about it. And Akeem and I became pretty good friends after that. And for the next, I think Akeem, that was his first year, so I think it was 2 more years before he came to the league. So the last 9 years, I was in the NBA. Every time I'd see Akeem, or even if I was a broadcaster, because I went straight into broadcasting games right after that, he would come up and we'd, high five and dap up and give each other hugs. Right. And we'd talk a little bit. And the first person, forever, till he stopped playing, he would grab, "Come here, do you know about this guy? Dude, he owes me money." And the guy, and whoever it be, would look at him and goes, "He had one shot his whole college career over me, and he got a big career in the NBA. He owes me money." So that was his big joke and everything. It was, I tell you what, it was a crazy game.
Yeah.
I guess it was my senior year, and that was obviously that was the year. That was the year they lost to North Carolina State in the finals.
Wow.
Was that same year. And we played them in the Southwest Conference tournament later on the year and beat them like a drum. I mean, that was a good year for us. We were good enough to probably do more, and then Kansas State upset us in first game of the NCAA tournament. In fact, I had a chance to either, I think, take the lead or tie the game on a last-second shot, and I missed that one. So my last shot of my college career was a missed corner 16-footer against 17-footer against Kansas State.
Well, I think anybody would probably rather have the shot over one of the NBA's greats. You may forget, and not Scott Hastings, as we speak with the Nuggets television color analyst. You'll never forget your college career and the shots that you could have made, but definitely a memorable shot over Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, when it comes to the Nuggets this season, at 14-11 after 25 games, and you've had the best seat in the house for all of them. What's been your early thoughts of the squad so far this year?
Kind of a mixed bag. And I think Michael Malone said it well after the Portland game. Right now, they're a 2-quarter team. They've lost some games where they've just been dominating and played really well for 2 quarters, and they did that in Portland and gave themselves a chance to win. But the second, third quarter, they were just horrendous, and I think they've been down more. Well, I do know this: they've had more comebacks from at least 10 points down to win a game. They've had more than any other team in the NBA so far this season, the first quarter of the season.
Right.
And to me, and this is, I was on a team that won an NBA championship, and then I was on a team that ended up losing. It was Michael Jordan's first year to win his first championship.
Right.
And that season was such a grind. Both of them were, but I saw the second one where it just, that little extra oomph you needed to get over a hump just wasn't there. And I'm not sure what would have been the difference and the impetus to make sure that it got done. And I see similarities from Denver. They've been a really good team and have grinded out. I don't think people understand, and especially that now the NBA has gone to this Emirates Cup thing, the NBA Cup that they're doing.
Right.
How screwed up they've made the schedule, and they really have. And I'll give you an example. Denver tomorrow when they play New Orleans, they will have played 4 games in 14 days. Not bad.
Not bad.
Starting with that game in New Orleans, they'll play 8 games in 14 days after that, including and that game's the 22nd. They'll play the 22nd, 23rd, 25th, 27th, 28th.
Good Lord.
30th, 1st, 3rd, 4th. So it's probably even more than that. It's just stupid. And you have to have your mind, and I've said this a million times, once you get in the NBA, once you figure it out, it usually takes 3 years for a lot of players, or at least used to, 3 to 5 years even.
Right.
And it's all mental. Once you play the league 3 to 5 years, you can play.
Yes.
You have the requisite talent to play, whether it's a star player or the 10th guy on the team. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Once you're about years 3 or 4, you something flips and you go, and you stop worrying about freaking out about stuff because you go, okay, I can play. If not here and there, I know I can play. And now it's all mental, and it's the grind. It's the being gone 7 days. Tomorrow will also be the 7th day we've been on the road during the holidays, right?
Wow.
And you'll get home on the 23rd, or we'll get home early in the morning. You got a game that night, and you better hope that you've done your shopping, and you better hope that you've done most of your wrapping, because now you have one day. And then, to be honest with you, you get home and play the 23rd. They're going to leave, and lucky it's a national televised game, so I will actually stay home for that one.
Yeah.
They'll go to play in Phoenix on the 25th. They'll get home we'll get home probably 1 o'clock in the morning on the 23rd, play the 23rd, and they'll leave the 24th. Probably go a little later in the evening, but they'll probably leave the 24th about 5 or 6 in the evening to go play on Christmas Day. And you better have your mind right.
Right.
Or you just give games up. And so the NBA, I think, is really screwed up. They made a lot of money. Everybody's wondering why the NBA ratings are down. And if anything, I would say, one, it has to do with the scheduling. You put this cup in the last 2 years, and I can see, and Denver's not the only team. It's just a team I cover.
Right.
There's a whole lot of people that are a lot of teams are on this grind and just aren't ready for it yet. And that's why, a lot of people thought that they shouldn't start the NBA season until Christmas time. One, you avoid, the first 2/3 of the 3/4 of the NFL season as far as competition. And they play basketball in the summer for the Olympics anyway. Why aren't you finishing this in July? What's the big deal if your NBA finals are over the 4th of July and people are home cooking hot dogs and shooting off fireworks and watching the NBA championship? So what? That's a great time.
Right. Continuing.
And they screwed up and didn't do that. So that's where the Nuggets are right now, and I think there's a lot of teams like that too.
Continuing our conversation with NBA champion Scott Hastings, Nuggets television color analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Hastings. Even though you say that the Denver Nuggets are kind of a mixed bag as of right now, Nikola Jokic is still amongst the top players when it comes to MVP candidates by NBA.com standards. He's still the top MVP candidate, and you've watched him for the entirety of his career in Denver. Just what makes him so great in your opinion? I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but his mind is moving at laser speed. He kills my Lakers every single year. What in your mind makes Nikola just so great?
Well, one, he knows you like the Lakers. And that needs to be an adjustment that needs to happen.
Oh, so somebody told him.
You're in Florida, aren't you? I mean,
I'm from Los Angeles, but
yeah, that's a good place to be from right now.
Right.
Anyway, there used to be an old basketball coach / scout that I remember having a conversation with, and this is probably back in the 80s or something like that. And it's funny when you ask the question the way you did, because I hadn't thought about this in a million years. And he said when he was looking at talent,
right?
He said he'd asked it. People asked him this question. He'd come back to head coach. They go, "Hey, can he run?" And the guy would say he can play. Well, can he jump? He can play.
Mm-hmm.
Can he shoot? He can play, and that's Nikola Jokic.
Right.
And you want to sit there and say, "Well, can he jump?" No, but dude can play. You just said to yourself, "Is he fast?" No, the dude can play.
Yeah.
His mind. AAU basketball is the worst thing in the world for developing true players, not skilled, not athletic, but true, quote-unquote, X and O basketball players, fundamental basketball players.
Right.
It's been the worst thing for the development of young players in the United States. It's enriched a whole lot of people's pockets. The parents have thrown away. I mean, they'll put a shotgun blast up of 50 families that they don't mind taking about 10 or 15,000 from every year, and maybe get one guy out of that system every other year. And obviously the bigger programs in New York and Chicago and some of these other areas, LA, probably have more than that. But it's a flawed system that counts too much on the individual's performance and no team consequence. So you've got a bunch of guys going to college in the pros
right.
that think about this. You played an AAU tournament over the week. You play in the Boo Williams tournament in Chicago, and you got a long weekend. You'll play 6 games. You don't care if your team goes 1-5 because you average 24 and 12.
Right.
And the European nature of it is it's about winning. And they practice, 4 days a week to play one game. AAU will practice maybe once a week to play 6 games.
Right.
And it's based on skill and everything else. And he went through that. And and I saw it early on when he got here. And I've been blessed to call his entire career. And I remember telling people right at the beginning of his second year, I said, dude, this guy's got a chance to be the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
And everybody's going, come on. I remember they played a game against the Indiana Pacers in London. And Isaiah Thomas, who's a good buddy of mine and I played with, and I said, dude, you got to watch this guy. Tell me what you think. I said, he reminds me of Vlade. I don't know if you remember Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
A big that can really pass.
Yeah.
He played for the Lakers, right? Played for the Lakers for a while in Sacramento.
Yep.
Really pass and score, smart player, blah, blah, blah. Same country, by the way. And I see him at halftime, and I go, what do you think? He goes, he ain't Vlade. He's better than Vlade.
Wow.
And this is the second-year league. I go, who's he remind you of? He goes, reminds me of Magic Johnson.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's just skilled, man. He's a good guy. You'd love him. He's got his priority rights. When he's on the floor, the most important thing in the world is basketball. When he's off the floor, the most important thing in the world for him is his family. And he maintains the proper perspective on everything. He gets it. And he's just a beautiful person with a beautiful skill set. And someday, he'll retire and be gone. I'll be sad, and he'll live with his wife and family and beautiful children somewhere, probably in Serbia. And I hope he comes back and graces us once in a while.
Absolutely. Finishing up our conversation with Scott Hastings, Nuggets television color analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Hastings. You speak on Isaiah Thomas. You were a part of that championship team in the late 80s and in the 90s. What made that Pistons team so great, and why do you feel, in your opinion, that it's a squad that really gets overlooked when it comes to NBA history?
It gets overlooked because of the walk-off to Michael Jordan and the Bulls, and they end up walking off and not shaking hands. I was on the floor. You can go back and look at that moment. I'm the tall, skinny white dude nearest the camera as they're going down the sideline. You can see the full court pick. And I think that hurt their legacy a little bit. And really haven't apologized much for it. At least Lambeer hasn't. He don't care.
No.
So I think that hurts their legacy a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's fair, to be honest with you.
Right.
And when people always talk about the greatest teams of all time, they do the Bird '86 team and the Lakers '85 team, and they do, this and that and this. I'd put that team up against anybody. And when your buddy J.J. Redick says, well, they were the talent 18, 20 years ago, there ain't nobody in the league right now that's going to stop Isaiah Thomas if you put him in today's game.
Right.
Ain't nobody in this league now going to stop Joe Dumars or Vinnie Johnson if you put him on this team.
Right.
No one's going to probably stop Mark Aguirre if you put him in the league right now.
Right.
And the way the league is in rebounding, either Lambeer or Rodman would probably be the two leading rebound players or guys, every year, because they attack the rebounds and most guys wait for it to come to them. So I don't know. I think the walk off the court against the Bulls damaged their legacy a little bit.
Okay.
And especially why do it make them so good? Because what I said about Joker, they didn't care about anything but winning. And
yes.
I went from good teams in Atlanta, played one season for the expansion of Miami, and then signed as a free agent to play in Detroit. And we're in the first night of training camp. David Greenwood and I both were on the team, and Bill Lambeer says, "Hey, you're coming to dinner with me tonight." I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, we're boys. We're going to have beers." Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's the NBA. You got a new friend. Hey. And I hated Lambeer, to be honest with you, the whole 8 years leading up to that. And he takes us to dinner, and it was the Sean Connery scene from The Untouchables. And if you haven't seen the movie The Untouchables, you need to plug it in this weekend just to watch it. And there's a scene where Kevin Costner is trying to catch, Scarface or whatever the guy's name, back in Prohibition. How do you stop him?
Right.
And he says, you got to go the Chicago way. He says, they put one of ours in the hospital. We put one of theirs in the morgue. They pull out a knife.
Right.
We pull out and that's the Chicago way. Lambeer is saying that we are a guard-oriented team. Our job is to protect our guards. They knock one of our guards down. We take one of their guards out of the game.
Right.
It was. I mean, I'm sitting there. And this ain't a crack smile. There's not. I'm kidding.
Right.
It was. They knocked one of our guards down. We knocked their guard out of the game. And
right.
It was straight from The Untouchables. because that's all they cared about was winning. And they were a close knit team, man. They were a tight team.
Right.
I went back, oh gosh, now probably 8-9 years ago, when they had the 20th anniversary of the championship teams, and yeah, well, it might have been longer than that, but whatever. It might have been 2010 we went, and dude, they're still close, and they're spread across the country, and Gerald Henderson's coming in from the East Coast, from Philly, and you know, guys are coming from here, and baby bang, Sally's coming in from L.A., right. and still close. And here's the funny thing: we're having breakfast the day of the event, and everybody falls into their slots. I go right back from being a grown-ass man, having called games for the last however many years. I've got my whole family. I'm got gray hair, and you fall right in the slot. Okay, there's Bill. Whatever he says, we have to listen to.
Right.
You know, let's get close to Isaiah and see if we can help him out and do anything. And it was the roles. You went right back into the roles of 1990. I mean, like that.
Wow. Man, it has been an incredible interview to talk with Scott Hastings, Nuggets television color analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Hastings. Scott, enjoy the day off. Hopefully you guys can get back to the winning side tomorrow. And happy holidays to you and yours, and thanks again for coming on.
Anytime, keep my number, give me a holler, and maybe we're down in Orlando or Florida. You can shout out me again or something.
Absolutely. There he goes, Scott Hastings, Nuggets television color analyst. We'll come back, put a wrap on things right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
While other books make promises, MyBookie delivers. This holiday season, they're stacking the deck in your favor with 12 days of Christmas. Now through the 31st, a festival lineup of can't-miss opportunities for bettors to cash in on. Risk-free Thursdays, super boosts, free bets, weekly casino giveaways with hundreds of winners and thousands in cash prizes. All it takes is a 50-cent spin on BetSoft slots to enter. With the road to New Orleans, bowl games galore, and a Christmas Day sports feast featuring NFL and an NBA doubleheader, this is your season to win. The 12 Days of Christmas event is live right now. Don't wait. Use promo code 1010XL with your first deposit, and MyBookie will give you a little extra start to your holiday. MyBookie is offering a 50% deposit bonus for 1010XL listeners just for signing up and using promo code 1010XL. There's a reason MyBookie has been the go-to for serious bettors for 10 years. Whether it's UFC, NFL, college ball, or casino, bet and win with confidence. Make your holiday season a jolly one with MyBookie.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2024 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us Sunday, December 29th for our fan appreciation game when the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans.
It's going to go over on down, and the Jags are going to win the ball game.
To lock in your seats for this divisional matchup, head to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there, Jags fans.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, take your shot. It's Open Gym on 1010XL.
Happy holidays to you and yours. It is the Christmas season. Crazy. I really feel like we just had Thanksgiving. Now, going to turn around next week. It is Christmas. Hopefully everyone has gotten their shopping done for the most part, ready to put smiles on their significant others' faces or on their children's faces. And to those who may be spending the holidays alone, you get much love from us here, from your family at 1010XL and 92.5 FM on this little show we like to call Open Gym. Here on the text line, the 0489 says, bruh, I literally just got my coffee from Dunkin' on Bay Meadows. what a call. Listen, we have eyes everywhere. When I was talking about the NBA All-Star Game and said you could be getting coffee right now on Bay Meadows. And he says, how do you know where I am? We're like 7-Eleven. We're like Dunkin' Donuts. We're absolutely everywhere. Okay, so I have this Scoop Jackson interview that I would love for you guys to hear. It's going to be on demand following the show. The conversation was just so good with Scott Hastings. We just don't have enough time to play it now here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Want to show as much respect to Compton and Company as we can. So I kind of want to talk about this. It was kind of spoken about a couple weeks ago with Trevor Lane. LeBron James and his legacy in terms of this. Kendrick Perkins comes out and he says if LeBron James is to request a trade, that Rich Paul and company would be open towards that idea. The Los Angeles Lakers, at least according to reports, have no intentions of trading LeBron James. Trevor Lane came on our program and said LeBron more than likely wants to finish his career as a Laker, but if the Lakers can't improve their team within the next couple of years, he may ask for a trade. The first place that I'm thinking about is Golden State, and that he may want to team up with Steph Curry. A large reason would probably be due to the fact of how they played so well together in the Olympics. LeBron James has been a guy that has turned the entire NBA upside down with his decision-making via the decision back in 2010 when he elected to take his talents to South Beach and play with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and the Miami Heat. Decides to leave Miami and go to Cleveland. Likes to go back home, play with Kyrie Irving. Trade was made to bring in Kevin Love. They go to the finals for a few years, only won one NBA title, but he brings the title back home to Cleveland. Now he is in LA, where many believe that he would finish his career with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm of the opinion that more than likely he is. My biggest question is, if there were a trade to be made for LeBron James, if LeBron James were to be traded again, and he goes to Golden State, he plays with Draymond Green, he plays with Steph Curry, and I'm sure that they wouldn't win a championship this year, but there would probably be many that would be interested in playing in Golden State if that were to be the case. In your opinion, as an NBA fan, would this hurt the legacy of LeBron James? Many that do not like LeBron James, I don't want to call them haters, but just not a fan. I'm a Jordan guy, or I'm a Kobe guy, I'm a Magic Bird guy. Many are of the mind that, listen, he's already messed up his entire legacy with me when he decided to go to Miami. Or are you of the mind to where you wouldn't care as much? I mean, he's 41 years old. Wants to go play with Steph again. Don't know if they can win an NBA title. Maybe great television. I think LeBron James is a guy that feels he has nothing left to prove. I think he's already said that. I've broken every record in which that I can. When it comes to NBA debates, he's always going to be a guy that is going to be number one to some, number two, or at least in somebody's top 5 or top 10. Is that something that you would like to see? Listen, in the era of the NBA now, everybody wants to team up. And a lot of that is, sure, because of what LeBron James elected to do. He decided to make a team that, A, could beat the Boston Celtics, but B, could also win an NBA championship. Because that was a thing that we were probably debating, saying that's something that LeBron James didn't have. Is LeBron James fighting for a 5th ring? I don't know. And that's the big question that I have at this point. Is he fighting for ring number 5? Does he think that if he comes up one short of Michael Jordan, that is at least enough to make an argument that he is the greatest player of all time? My opinion, you asking me, RJ Saunders, no. And in my opinion, I agree with the text line, MJ 1, Kobe 2. LeBron, I feel you can put 3, but we talked about this also a couple of weeks ago. Who else is on that short list? Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I just don't know if it's a good look for LeBron James to be asking for a trade again from another team. I do believe that the Los Angeles Lakers, however, do need to make a trade. But it's difficult with the guys that you have on your roster. Really difficult. And maybe you are able to get a Cam Johnson. Maybe you are able to get a Jonas Valanciunas. You're hearing the talks of Kyle Kuzma. Bring back Lonzo Ball. Could you imagine LeVar back in L.A.? Front row cheering on Lonzo. Although he says that the Lakers will never get his son, let alone get LaMelo to play in the purple and gold. If they were to come back and play in L.A., it would be for the Los Angeles Clippers. Could you imagine that? LeBron James, without question, is going to go down, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. One of the greatest players of all time that we have seen in this generation. There's also a lot of people who do argue that in a LeBron James era, an era that was supposed to be dominated by LeBron James, Steph Curry did win 4 NBA titles, albeit 2 of which were won with Kevin Durant in the super team era. But I don't know. It's my imagination. LeBron James possibly teaming up with Steph Curry to try to win another NBA title? I don't know. We'll see. Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas to you, RJ.
Thank you. Enjoy the festivities. Enjoy the games that'll come on Wednesday. We'll begin with the Knicks and the Spurs at noon. And if you're still listening to our program on demand, enjoy the Scoop Jackson interview. Slam Magazine is going into the NBA Hall of Fame. And if you remember that iconic 1996 Slam Magazine photo, I talk about that with Scoop Jackson and just the impact Slam Magazine has had on the culture and basketball. So, for Casey Dobson, I'm RJ Saunders. This has been Open Gym. We will not be on with you next week. We'll see you in 2025.